Hello lovely summer, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing part 2 of the Riverside Cul-De-Sac series. So this part is going to be the interiors of all three homes. We are starting with the grandmother's house. So this home, if you don't remember from the first video or you didn't watch the first video, which I will link it, it'll be at the end of this video and it'll also be somewhere on the screen at some point. But if you don't remember the last video, this home is the grandmother's house of the young criminal that we built last week on Monday, their home. So the crime ring has extended itself into Willow Creek and these two girls are working for it, and one of them is doing the crime work because she needs to take care of her grandmother, and this is her grandmother's home. Now if you remember that video, I had the same pictures up on her wall because her dreams are to travel the world, and I thought when she, found these pictures of the places she wanted to go, she always bought duplicate copies and maybe told her grandmother that she went on these trips and journeys, and that's where her grandma thought that she was getting all this money from. Because obviously she wasn't telling her that she worked for, a crime ring, so I think that she probably fudged the truth a little bit just to get her grandmother to be proud of her. But what she doesn't realize is her grandma's probably proud of her no matter what she does. She might not be super happy if she's, finds out she's a part of a crime ring, but she's proud of her for being able to take care of herself and help take care of her and, all that good stuff. But all of the houses here on this cul-de-sac are very small. So most of them only have one bedroom. There is one with 2 bedrooms. That's going to be the second house that we furnish. But as you can see, all of them have really cramped kind of living and kitchen areas. And I did that on purpose because I didn't think Willow Creek was a very rich neighborhood. I thought that they had their wealthy area, which is where the goths are gonna live, but pretty much everything else is, middle class, like lower to middle class, nothing super fancy. And so I thought that even the nicest homes weren't really that big. That's why Eliza Pancake's home wasn't super big. None of the homes are going to be, overly huge except for the super wealthy area. A lot of the people who I have living in my save file in Willow Creek have pretty normal jobs. I have some customer service couples and I have some restaurant employees and some farmers and stuff like that. So that's kind of my thinking for the entirety of Willow Creek. That's why none of the homes are super fancy. But for this home in particular, I did want to use kind of older style furniture. Like I said, this is for a grandmother, so I'm using some of the cats and dogs stuff like these lamps here just to kind of give it a little bit of an older feel. And I'm also including some stuff from Nifty Knitting. Like I said in the Young Criminals home video, I did think that this grandmother knitted, and that's why they had some knitted things around their home. I thought she probably knitted for her granddaughter and, to help take care of her. She, knitted her some clothing and some decorations for her home because she's super excited that she was able to afford a new home. So that's why I wanted to place a couple of different nifty knitting stuff around. I also thought that this grandmother was like a cat lady. So there's a couple of food bowls over here. She has 3 cat beds in her bedroom, which we'll see when we get there. And I definitely thought she just had a bunch of cats. Now, it doesn't working that in the gameplay aspect of it will be a little weird because in order to this lot to function, you either have to have roommates on top of your sim or you have to have just one household. And if you think about it, it is going to already have 3 sims on the household, so that only leaves it available for 4 more sims, and cats and dogs count as sims. So if you are going to play on this lot with your 1 sim, then that leaves it for 3 cats, which is what I designed this house for, but then that means your sim can't have any more sims in their household. So I mean, it's totally up to you. This lady could only have 1 cat, she could have 2, but the house I did leave empty for your sims only has 1 bedroom in it, and it's not that this lot is a starter lot because the lot itself is expensive, but that home is kind of a starter home. So I was thinking that most likely you would put your sims there because maybe they just moved here to Willow Creek, or it's another elderly woman and this is kind of, the older area of town and they're just kind of, living out their days. They knit together on the front porches, they garden, stuff like that. But I was leaving it pretty open for you guys to decide what you wanted to do. This lot is also right next to Eliza Pancake's, so it could be another young adult, and maybe you can split the downstairs area of the empty house into 2 bedrooms instead of 1, and it could be another single mother or something like that. But yeah, so there is 1 empty house on this lot, which we will get to obviously when we're done furnishing these. But now we're into the bedroom, and like I said, there is 3 cat beds over here. I do end up changing it a little bit because I Ended up putting one of the cabinets from Nifty Knitting in here just to fill up the space a little bit. But I'm using the cats and dogs 4-poster bed, and I'm mixing with those eco lifestyle end tables because I really like the colors with it. I think it matches the Nifty Knitting colors pretty nicely. And then over here I started with putting this picture frame up here with some shelves underneath, but I realized, and then I was going to do like a shelving unit opposite of it, but I realized I didn't really like how that looked, so I decided to go with this Nifty Knitting one. I figured it would give her, you know, the space to have her laundry, but also all of her knitting equipment. And then out here is the back patio. I put some rocking chairs out here with a nice little end table. I figured maybe on like nice beautiful days her granddaughter would come visit and they would sit out here while she knitted and they would talk about their dreams and stuff like that. And then now we are on to the second home. So this home is owned by a single mother who adopted a child. She's a little bit older. I did think when I do my save file, she will be an adult, kind of like halfway through her adult life if I can figure out how to do that specifically. And she made all her money with gardening, and she's now retired. I did think she at one point probably owned her own floral business, but then she retired and I don't know, maybe sold it to someone or something so she could live out her days, or maybe she was initially a businesswoman and now that she's retired she's opening up her own floral business that she's gonna leave to her child. But I did think she had always wanted to be a mother and she just never had the opportunity to do so, so she decided to go ahead and adopt now that she's, you know, financially well off. And they have this cute little cozy home. Everything is green and blue and like wood tones to kind of symbolize nature, because I did think they spent a lot of time outside. However, there is a child in this home, so I do give them a gaming console just in case, you know, give the kids something extra to do. And then here I'm using my red shelf to place these decorations from movie hangout stuff onto this table. I sized down the coffee table, that's why I had to use the red shelf, because when you size down the coffee table, all of the slots are still on the initial size of the coffee table, so they like hover over like where the new coffee table technically is. So I went ahead and used the red shelf. And then I used this like potting bench thing over here in the corner. I think it's from Get Together, and I never know like how to use it in builds unless it's like outside in a gardening area, but I thought it'd be kind of cute if maybe she had that as her decoration inside with all her like plants that she's currently working on, and then maybe while her kid is playing, you know, games and stuff, she sits in here and works on her flowers. I thought that would be kind of a nice little, you know, family activity. And then over here I'm just doing a couple of plants in the corner just to decorate some things. As you can see, a lot of the decorations involved are plants and flowers. I obviously did that on purpose. And I'm also placing some gardening clutter items here. I do that again in the kitchen. In the kitchen I kind of create like a little indoor workspace. I figured maybe if it was raining, she had a little spot where she could bring her stuff inside. This is the largest kitchen in the cul-de-sac. It has its own separate room, and I did that on purpose because I thought that she was definitely kind of like a homemaker, so she, you know, always cooked food for her kids. She made them sacked lunches and family dinners, and they always sat together. Not that they have a dining table, but you know, they sat together and like on the couches or maybe outside or something, and you know, they were just one big happy family. And then I'm just cluttering up the counters a little bit. I'm using my classic stuff. There is one empty counter, so don't yell at me. Okay, there is one counter that they can use despite how big this kitchen is. There ended up only being one, but I think that's okay because, I mean, it's The Sims. You only need one. It's not like real life where you need like 800. And I did contemplate putting a table over here, but I didn't want it to block the use of the stove. So I decided that this is where I was going to put the indoor potting bench area, and it's kind of like a storage thing too, so it has some, you know, flower things, and it has a plant and like a little notebook for her to take notes on her gardening stuff and everything, and then also a couple of, well, there's one basket I figured probably to hold some of her stuff in, and then there's some shelves up here too with some books and just some flowers and more arrangement stuff and everything like that. And I thought this was kind of just like a cute little cozy corner for just them. I don't know, it's not functional, it doesn't do anything, it's just kind of cute. And then we're going to be putting a rug here in the kitchen, and then we're moving on to the outside because I'm a dummy and I forgot while I was filming this. I was just like in the zone and I forgot that I hadn't decorated the rest of the house. So I just went immediately to the outside after the kitchen because that's how it flowed, and then I realized I had to go back in and furnish the rest of the house, but it's okay. And then out here You can kind of see I merged together the eco lifestyle like decorative potting bench with the actual flower arranging table from Seasons. That way it kind of looked like one large area for them to do their flowers and their gardening. And then I also extended their backyard a little bit so I could add a couple more flower pots and make sure everything was functional just so they could have as many flowers as possible. This home does have 2 bathrooms, so it has this one downstairs, which is not technically an ensuite to the main bedroom, but it's like right next door. And it has a shower and a bathtub. I wasn't sure, you know, if you end up not putting one of your Sims here and you end up playing with one of my pre-made Sims, you might have wanted to add a dog into this home, or, you know, maybe you wanted the kid to be a toddler instead of an actual kid. So I did want to make sure there was at least one bathtub for some flexibility. And then in here into the bedroom, I'm using a mix of eco lifestyle and Seasons, and I also think I end up throwing in some cats and dogs as well. But I'm also using that picture that's like the 3 gallery pictures, and I'm using the swatch that has flowers on it just to match, you know, the rest of the theme of the build. And then I'm using the cats and dogs dresser. I thought that this wood tone matched the rest of the wood I was using in the build, so I wanted to go ahead and use that. And then I'm covering up the dresser obviously with some clutter, you know, some makeup items, some plants, and, you know, random stuff like that. And then upstairs now into the kid's bedroom, the kid has a closet, and as you can kind of see, it's merging into some windows, but I think that that's okay. You can't really see it from the outside, so it doesn't mess with the exterior of the home. But the kids' room is very, I don't want to say it's small because it isn't, but it's long and thin. Like, it's not a normal sized bedroom, so I was having an issue with some floor planning. That's why I decided to add the closet, because I didn't think I'd actually have the functionality to place a dresser in here. So they're just getting a couple of clutter items. I also end up adding a mirror over here in the corner just so it kind of filled in the space. But now we are on the last home. So this is the home that I'm not going to put a sim into for my save file. So you can either move your sim in, or if you want to play with one of the pre-made Sims, you can make another sim to live here and just play as the whole neighborhood, like as the community if you want. It's totally up to you. Now this is the smallest living area. This is the skinniest home. So it's like a 2 couch. I don't remember putting a TV, although I might end up putting a TV, but I used the new base game 21st birthday celebration table here in the neutral wood tone to match the rest of the woods. I wanted to leave this as kind of a little bit of a blank slate so you guys could decide, you know, how you wanted your sim to decorate things, how you wanted everything to be. I'm using some nice Parenthood counters. There is one usable counter, and that's pretty much the only counter in this kitchen. There's one corner counter, but I clutter it up, but your Sims can't use corner counters anyway. And as you can see, the kitchen is very tiny, but I do promise that it works. I do end up getting a dining table in here. This is the only home I get a dining table into, and it's also the smallest, so I'm not quite sure how I worked that one out. But I do use the Snow Escape table with the new 21st birthday chairs and... yeah, not and anything, it's just the chairs. And then over here I do just a quick little picture because I didn't know what to put in that hallway because I wanted both doors to be functional, but it looked bare. And then this is the only bathroom in this build. So obviously, like I said, you can fit 2 bedrooms downstairs technically, but I wouldn't recommend a toddler because there is no space for a bathtub. But this is what I mean. So this is a very large downstairs basement area. And if you were to kind of section it off or even make it like a little bit bigger, like 2 tiles bigger, you could make there like a little mini hallway and then 2 bedrooms or a bedroom and a bathroom and then add another bedroom upstairs. So this home could easily be 2 bedrooms. I just was kind of lazy, and I also imagined only one sim moving on to this lot, so that way you had the ability for pets and more functionality and everything like that. So it's a kind of a large bedroom, but they have their own seating area, and I thought that maybe they were avid readers. I think I put a bookshelf down here if I'm not mistaken. I know I do a couple of couches, so they have a nice little cozy area. And I figured, like I said, Willow Creek is more of like a working class area of town, so I figured they probably worked all day, and then when they came home at night, they just wanted a nice place to sit and relax, so they maybe had made themselves a cup of tea, came down here, read some books in, you know, their nice area near their plants, and, you know, all of their nice comfy couches and stuff like that, and I thought it was just like a cozy little area. And then I am adding a couple more plants. I did think that everyone in this town was obsessed with plants. And then on the outside here, it's very basic. I get a simple seating area, but I leave the activities blank so that way you guys can decide what you want your sim to do. But besides that, that is it for this build, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!